There it is. 250,000 miles. 2007 Toyota Highlander.
You bought it new.
Bought it new. First new car I bought.
So I've always been a Honda guy.
Okay.
Or a Mazda guy. And my cars always get 100, 120, 30, 40. Then I sell them. Honda's known for a lot of mileage too.
Yes.
But I never went this far. So my question to you is, all right, hopefully we can help the viewers. Are you changing the oil when?
About every 5,000 miles.
So every 5,000,
Yeah.
not 6, 7, 8, closer to 5.
Between 5 and 6.
Struts, original struts, wheel carriage, wheel. You didn't do any of that?
No.
Exhaust system?
Same.
Transmission fluid?
Just everything that's routine. I didn't do anything major.
So you didn't never change the transmission
No.
fluid?
No.
Radiator fluid?
No.
Brake fluid?
No.
Spark plugs?
Yes.
Change the spark
I think
plugs.
so. The only big things I've had to do, a new alternator.
Okay.
And last year there was a leak in the oil pan. To fix that, he had to redo some of the belts, take them off. So I got new belts.
Interesting.
And that was a relatively big expense. But there's been nothing major, and I feel like I got to knock on something to not jinx this car. But
there is no jinx in the universe.
I know there isn't.
But that's interesting.
But it's nothing major that I've had to do to this car.
A lot of times they say flush the radiator fluid or your transmission fluid, not the motor oil, but the transmission fluid. Sometimes they say change that. Plugs you've changed.
I think.
So this is pretty impressive.
But I didn't do any of those. And this is not saying you
Who looks
shouldn't.
at the manual and says,
but I didn't
do
that. And when they'd
Does
say,
anybody do that?
when they'd say, you know, well, you're due for such and such,
Yeah.
I'm like, it's okay.
Cabin filter.
Yes,
You changed the cabin filter.
I think I did that. Yeah.
See, that's
There's
one thing
been some
I'm
filter
like,
changes.
if I had a car for 100 years, I'd never change the
Yeah,
cabin
I think the
filter.
cabin filter
Wow, you
a
did
few
that
years
one.
ago.
Air filter.
Air filter, I've changed some air
All
filters.
right, so he's doing some things, but
But just
that's pretty-
routine stuff.
I love it. This guy, we should make a granite bust of him and his vehicle, and put it downtown
And the main
Shavertown.
reason I kept it for a long time is that I just got cheap. And I was like, I like not having a car payment.
'Cause you're a cheap
dad.
dad.
I had kids.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
it just kept going. And I'm like, all right.
When you pay for a vehicle and it's paid off, then you realize every month that's an extra $400, $500, $600. It's such a good feeling.
It's such a good
It's like,
feeling.
I'm going to keep this thing going. All right, 30s all over the place now. But look, 34 Tower City, 31. There's still some close to
there's quite
freezing.
the range out there. Like when I left my house this morning, it was 25.
Yeah, there's a lot of range. And what's happening now, it's going to get into the 40s today. It's going to be mild and rainy for everyone. But watch what happens tonight. So we expect a changeover right around then. But look at surface temperatures.
Above freezing.
So even when the rain changes to some wet snow tonight, it's still going to be wet on roads. After the storm departs, if you want to call it a storm, it's really not. It's a frontal boundary. Now we're back to the 20s. So tomorrow morning when it gets cold enough for the snow to stick, a lot of it's already over. So the time is going to be off here.
Okay.
But, look at that little
Whoa,
flash
that was a
of
nice
amber.
little
One more
flash.
time. You know what I think that is? I think that's Dick Yingling welding some of the fermentation
must
tank.
be.
Yeah, and he lit up the sky with that. So what's going to happen? A moving in now, and you can see this arc pattern right there on B. Do you see it?
Yeah.
So that's going to slam into A literally 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock tonight. And that's going to change it over. So we have to wait for B to meet A. But A is now coming in. Let's see how things have changed. See how it's shrinking, John?
Yes.
So there might be, this is the radar's way of saying, drizzle meets cold surfaces. Maybe a little touch of
Just
freezing.
a couple of those spots that are still below
spots.
freezing.
There's always that one little nook and cranny. Just be aware of that. But most of you, it's going to be rain showers today, and they're going to be around this afternoon. But John, I've been waiting for this since last Friday. I knew today is going to be my big mountain biking day.
Okay.
And maybe even in the rain. And I love biking in the rain in the woods. Is that a problem?
No. Because it's starting there to the south, so it's going to move in the next couple hours.
Yes, everyone's going to get on and off rain showers. Looks like under a quarter of an inch. It's not going to be a lot of rain today. But here comes B. It's touching A. This is 10 o'clock. Freezing levels dropping through the atmosphere. They start high and they keep lowering, lowering, lowering. And then by the time that happens, though, look, there's going to be a mix of rain and snow showers. I don't think there'll be much, but some of the northern tier counties here could pick up 2-3 inches. 5 a.m. tomorrow. John's poor kids, they want to go to school because they just love an education. Let's hope they don't cancel, right?
Do not cancel.
Do not cancel. Do not even delay. Just go about your day
There
tomorrow.
will probably be some delays.
This is the world we live in. A
Yes.
few flurries. So 2 in the morning when you're coming into work, no problem.
Okay.
Your Highlander will be doing fine.
It does great in the snow.
It does kind of snow, but by daybreak tomorrow, I can see some of these northern tier counties 2-3 inches. Most of us, it's an inch or two. Okay, we can handle that. So that's today. Rain showers mixing with some snow showers, generally after midnight. What is that thing?
Well, we all know what that is.
Do we? Did you
do.
know that immediately?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so we're going to talk about that. Let's think of this. Remember I said that arcing band of B, Cole?
Yeah.
Let's think of that as the pony's tail. There's the rain, and then watch this. Boom! Tail meets rain. That's tonight. There's your snow. But then the pony's already gone. So much of tomorrow just windy and colder.
Okay.
Friday, the tail lifts up. Nothing happens. And then there's another system that moves in for the weekend with some flurries. No big deal, right? So that's the weekend. Here we go. Rain to snow starts between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. That's when the changeover is happening. Cold wind, flurries tomorrow, temperatures in the 20s, but below average temperatures next week. But it's not going to be really below average. It's going to be upper 20s to near 30, which we can handle. Let's go back in time, Johnny Baby. Speaking of below average, this is going to scare the heck out of you. Are you ready? Didn't even register. We're going to 1964. We had 2 feet of snow.
Wow.
And a high of 16 and a low of 1 today. Come on, man. Woo! Brutal. That same year, a new iconic car and symbol that
about
represents
that?
freedom and speed. This car is still around today,
Still
right?
around.
The iconic Ford Mustang. I think everyone's heard of Lee Iacocca. He's
yeah.
the guy who spearheaded this whole program.
So he was involved with the Mustang, and then he made up the minivan.
And then, oh yeah, and then
The
went
Dodge
to Chrysler.
minivan, yeah.
He was an icon, that guy. So that's when it came out. The Ford Mustang's still around today. So what happens after the tail leaves? We get a shot of cold on Thursday. It breaks up on Friday, but more cold air comes in for next week. Remember December, it was so cold? We're in this part of the upper atmosphere. So this is
not as cold.
Not as cold, but it's going to be cold next week. We can handle that. Upper 20s for MLK weekend and much of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There's your showery snow tonight. But much of the weekend, just some flurries and snow showers. That's good, right?
Yeah, we can handle that.
And by this time, he'll have 250,100 miles.
Yes.